I recently finished writing a quartet for oboe and strings. First two movements are very playable. Third movement's a little more difficult, but any good college player would be able to play this piece. It's also somewhat challenging musically. I'll just play a little bit of it so you can hear how it goes. So it goes along like that for a while. Then it has some counter material. Yeah, let's get some nice material in the beginning here. And then it goes to maybe B material, I don't know. It's really transitionary. And that repeats itself through there with some counterpoint. And then some, it kind of develops here. Yeah, that's actually, I gotta change that. That's a D natural, not a D sharp. There we go. Yeah, then it leads up to this bridge, really. And it develops at the letter marker. And then it does some development here. It's all very playable. And then we go to this other bridge section. So after that, I'm going to go back to the original theme, but it's inverted. If you recall, the opening was. But here it's. So I just, inverted a lot of the material. And that goes on for a while. And then it ends nicely. Let's see. Let's just go from here. And this is a coda section. It's, Sunday afternoon material, really. So that's the first movement. Let's go to the second movement. It's not really a slow movement, but it's in cut time, so it makes it seem like it's slow. Goes on a bit here. And then it moves to some B material, which is the middle section, really. Different tempo. And then it has, it goes on, dialogue between the oboe and violin is very big here. So it goes through some transition, then a slow section here, which then we have the recap. Whoa, back here. So that goes on for a little while, and then it comes to the ending. I think it's a really accessible music, you know. If you look at the oboe part per se, let me just find it. You know, this is all very playable, but you can see that, you know, it's just some accidentals here and there. You just got to squeak out this high G. Now we'll get to the third movement. This is a little more difficult. I would send you the accurate score. It's in F sharp, right? But when I wrote this, I wanted to be playable, accessible. When you write something in F sharp, it's kind of like wandering through the dark forest at night. You know, it's just this all kinds of crazy notes all over the place. And when they're really not that complicated, you know, E sharps are F naturals. I started it in F sharp. I went to G rather quickly to get us out of that darkness. This piece, this third movement, is based on two motives, which I'll play for you, from the Française Quintet. I don't know if anyone knows that woodwind quintet. Really wonderful piece. There are two motives in there, and one goes like this, and the other goes. So you have those two motives from that Française, which is Francaix, right? I'm not sure if I pronounce it right, but I used to play that, and I was like, wow, those are pretty neat intervals. I wonder if I could do something with that. Kind of noodled around and came up with, you know. Now, that's all very within the fingers, you know. So if you wanted to speed it up, it's actually not difficult to do. No, that's pretty rough, but it's well within the fingers. And so after I moved on from there, I went to E major. And then to G major. And so it's the stuff like that. And then the end gets a little hairy. And in this score, you don't see it, but in the actual score, it's all well written out. There are a lot of competing elements toward the end. I wanted it to sound flashy, but not be impossible to play. When you play these motives, it's all very much under your fingers and can be done. I'll play you a little bit so you can hear how I put these things together. We have some fugal material here, which gets us to our next section. It's kind of fugal, it's kind of transitionary. This is a transitionary right here. And then the next section I wrote on the piano. It sounds better on the piano than the oboe. It's sometimes things don't translate well from the piano, the keyboard, to the instrument, and so that goes on for a little bit, and then it gets some technical things. And the strings do a transitionary thing, and then this is like the B section of the difficult. So when I first wrote this bit, it was actually a little more difficult than this. So I made it so it's playable. This is all, I mean, it's like a Gillet etude right here. It's not that difficult. And this is a little tricky. You just have to practice it, you know. And then it goes back to the original theme. And then the oboe starts to step it up a notch. From C sharp we go to E. Just played some of that for you earlier. And then So that goes on. And then we have the last, so I put this in a tempo or not. Yeah, then we have this last bit here before the last introduction to the theme. And then all hell breaks loose. Yeah, it's meant to be flashy, but not incredibly difficult. And when it's in F sharp, it's very confusing. When it's written like in G, it's more accessible. And you can see C, E, F natural E. That's all it is. C, E, F natural E to C, F natural E. And then the same here. C, E, F natural, F sharp, C, E, F natural, F sharp. See, you're only picking up 2 fingers for this, You're only picking up a couple fingers here and there. So it's not really that complicated. And this one here, this is the most difficult. I find this tricky, especially up here. You kind of have to throw your left wrist out to get these notes, But the piece is accessible, and it's fun to play, and it all kind of fits in together, about 15 minutes. You can have the score and parts printed, really nice printing. The parts are really very legible, very clean. You can get the score and parts for $35, and if you want the reference CD, like what you've just been hearing with me playing on it, or attempting to play it, that's an extra $5. So for $40, you get score and parts and the CD, and then you can have some fun with this with your friends on a Sunday afternoon. Little chamber concert kind of stuff. If you haven't seen the music, it's at music.pierreoboe.com. It's where I have music, CDs of mine and such, and you'll be able to find this there. I also wrote a symphony last year, 4 movements, about 35 minutes. So if you haven't heard any of this stuff, go to my site, music.pierreoboe.com, and you can buy score parts and CDs. Hope to see you there.